Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same, so listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Last time on Path of Night, Johnny, Wynn, Ira, and Miles delved further into the chantry. There, they discovered a safe room where they found Reiss. Reiss allowed the group access to a stockpile of blood, so they healed and prepared. Britta and Eden, fleeing the flesh monstrosity, finally found the same safe room. The Toreador was reunited with her coterie. The group shared intel about Eden, the last daughter of Eve, and a Davenport. They decided to keep her safe for now, but danger lay ahead in an upcoming fight with Vito. Reiss starts to sit up in his seat.
Wynn kind of sweeps around so Eden is out of sight and just kind of backs her, because she's standing now, correct?
Yes.
She backs her down a bookshelf, just so she's kind of out of immediate sight, in case Reiss knows her and knows the acquisition.
Britta shoots Wynn a grateful smile.
I saw everything in this room upon entering it. There's no need to hide her from me.
I think there's plenty of need to put me between you and her, though.
If you say so. He kind of shrugs dismissively.
He did keep her safe for the time being. I realize that's not necessarily the way we would keep her safe.
You can't keep her safe. You simply can't.
Why is that?
Because you're children. That may sound condescending to hear, but it is the truth. The Sabbat already knows that she is in New Haven. They're coming for her. And I don't mean the single pack that has threatened this domain. I mean the Sabbat. You cannot protect her from them, just as you cannot protect her from Miles' sire.
How exactly did the Sabbat find out about her?
The Giovanni have allies on both sides of the fence, so to speak. The Vikos is aware of the last daughter of Eve.
Wynn kind of flashes back to a phone call she had with Ambrogino about a multi-clan effort that might be able to save Joey, and it just kind of flickers there for a minute.
What you have, for the moment, is a powder keg. Your grace, your city is already on the brink of destruction. How do you think all of those power-hungry princes that have come to your domain in search of power are going to react when they find out that this legend, this danger spawned from thin bloods, is being protected and hidden by you?
Oh, not sure. I mean, I've got an idea, but...
You're either stupid or you have many ideas of how bad that's going to be.
Or he doesn't give a shit what you're saying. Like, it's not news.
Then why are you pretending that it isn't a problem?
Because we have a lot of problems and this is pretty low on the list.
It is not.
For you.
No.
It's pretty ugly for you, isn't it?
Stop thinking about just your coterie.
Why don't you stop thinking about just you?
This is a problem that is much bigger than me, than you, than anyone in here. You cannot protect this girl.
What were you trying to do with her?
We are attempting to discern the nature of her existence, what she means for the future of kindred kind.
What conclusion did you come to?
Nothing good.
Here's the fun thing about studies. The results really depend on who's paying for them. And they're interpreted by those who are paying for them. I think you don't know shit.
Regardless, We're not going to debate this to death here. For now,
There's no need to. I'll make sure your sire knows, and you can debate it with him. See if this is funny.
Are you threatening the prince?
Sure sounds like it.
Does the prince feel threatened by the will of his sire? By the will of Hardestad and the Camarilla?
I was about to say, he's not threatening me.
He gets up and heads over to the documents that he had been reviewing, and he starts packing things up.
Be a real shame if those got out, wouldn't it?
He just keeps going about his business.
Think we all got dirty secrets, Reiss. And maybe you should be a little more careful about who you're blabbing about.
You again have no idea what you're talking about.
Spoiler alert, I'm not sure you do either.
Privilege and Reiss, let's back this up so we can actually talk to one another about what we know and not get into a fight here. Because as it stands right now, you have been the one hiding this girl and protecting her. If you're telling us that this is going to look bad with the Camarilla going all the way up, then you're the one who's in the hot seat right now. Correct?
She is not here because I want her here.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Wynn, stand
because
down.
all kindred, whether they like it or not, are beholden to others. And it is my expectation that if the truth comes out, I will be expended or preserved. But I grow weary of worrying about which of the two it will be. So do what you will do.
I think my coterie is already inclined to protect this girl. What we need, and whether you like it or not, we are unlikely allies in the defense of New Haven right now, Reiss. And we need your knowledge and expertise to help guide us to the right outcome. I hope you appreciate how difficult it is for me to acknowledge your expertise and how much we need you right now. Please work with us so that we can do some kind of good for the city and the Camarilla.
I do not believe that this girl can be protected. In fact, a Mr. Ambrogino Giovanni has grown weary of waiting for her to be delivered. I do not know what will become of her when he has her. But he is not a man to be trifled with.
See Britta trying to push down the instinct to bristle.
I don't know. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot on the line. And we can't make a ton of decisions. For now, we will keep her alive. And we need to stop the spread of Vito Zantosa.
And she can help with that.
And it might be true. I know nothing about what she's doing or what she can do, but Vito cannot keep spreading whatever this is. It will become a far, far larger problem than even Sabat at that point.
Not to implicate your clan or yourself, but Ambrogino Giovanni came here with the understanding that he was going to collect this girl.
This girl and a set of tomes that are relevant to ongoing studies.
Which tomes?
That is not for me to say.
And somehow, this deal with the Giovanni was made known to the Sabat through the Vikos?
Yes.
So both the Giovanni and the Sabat know about her. Who else knows about her?
The Tremere. Its highest echelons.
This entire discussion, Ira has been leaning against a table, sort of watching, neither with the coterie nor with Reiss, but kind of in the middle.
Johnny paces around and picks up his chainsaw off the ground.
The Vikos had recently been part of an attack on Prince Warwick's domain nearby. I don't know if it's connected.
Johnny kind of sets the chainsaw down on one of the tables and just kind of starts inspecting it. Ira, you came here along with Ambrogino Giovanni.
I met him here in the domain. I'd never met him before.
What exactly are you doing in the domain here?
Well, there are a lot of chantries that have been attacked by the Sabbat. I have been asked to help make sure we don't lose another one. And he gives like a little chuckle and looks around the fucking ruins of this chantry. And to work with Mr. Giovanni, there was a mutual acquaintance of some higher-ups. I don't know much because I am but an apprentice. It's just not my place to know.
Can we make an opposed roll to see how much of that Johnny believes?
Lex, hidden motive supply?
Yep.
I imagine you're going to smoke me on this, but I think it's important.
I should have smoked Miles on it and I lost, so...
What do you mean should have?
I've got 8 die pool with a spec, man.
Eh?
You heard what you needed to roll and said, uh-oh.
What's my pool rolling against this?
Empathy perception, I think.
What's the target difficulty number?
6 on both sides.
All right, that's 3 successes over here.
I got
the mark of the
7
beast.
successes.
Now you smoked me. Johnny kind of nods along, like, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Actually, why I had hoped to work with the sheriff, looking for a mutual acquaintance.
You can see Johnny is looking back and forth between you and Reiss. You can tell that his hackles are up, and that Brujah get that look in their eye when they feel like someone's fucking with them. But you can tell he hasn't decided on who it is yet. But he seems to kind of believe everything you're saying. But you can tell he's definitely in a spot right now where he's kind of on that weird hair trigger of maybe don't push this guy. His caveman brain starting to kick in.
Ira was in a small room with you swinging a chainsaw when you weren't mad at him. Yeah.
So, regardless of all this tomorrow night problem bullshit, there's a very angry Zantosa out in the hall. Sounds like he's made of several people. How are we leaving?
Well, we found your friend. We can go back the way we came.
Not if he's right outside the door.
Also, we can't leave without doing something about Zantosa.
Britta looks intensely sad, frustrated, and just there's been so much trauma after trauma after trauma, and hearing all these issues about the one good thing that she was hoping she could do for this girl, and talking about the Zantosa with Reiss in the room. She's holding on to her arm too tightly and trying to keep quiet.
Wynn kind of sees Britta and just kind of like cocks her head to tell her to come over and stand next to her.
Britta does sort of slowly drag her feet over.
She just kind of squeezes Britta's hand.
Britta, how did you find this girl in the first place?
She was on the way here from the cell full of people that the Zantosa absorbed.
Okay.
Were they thin bloods?
Thin bloods and caitiffs.
But how did you know to look for her in the first place?
I saw Neil's name on the list, and it seemed like there was more looking around I should do. The list of people to be taken. She's ducking her head away from Reiss.
You saw Neil's name there.
On a list of people to be collected.
She nods.
Wynn's jaw tightens.
All right, we're getting off topic. First off, does anyone have solutions for stopping the spread of Zantosa?
Ira looks over at Reiss and just says, Regent, would I be remiss in believing that were we able to restore the door and the wards at the central entrance, which for some reason was open, that we might be at least able to contain this thing within the chantry? Alive, perhaps, but contained.
He looks to be considering options. The chantry would hold it for a time, but it would not be a permanent solution. And while I realize it might sound over the top, it may have to be the solution used for now, because simply killing Mr. Zantosa hinders us much more than it helps.
Here's a better question. Can we kill him right now?
I do not know.
What have you tried?
We used psychic methods of keeping him sedated and asleep while he was here. The cell he was in was reinforced magically and arranged so that the room he was in would be completely and utterly incinerated in the event that something went wrong. However, something has happened recently in the East that has caused a psychic backlash across the world. And for some reason, the thin-blooded who are being kept and observed were affected by this. And their affliction caused problems throughout the Chantry that escalated until Mr. Zantosa began to go free.
The rise of the antediluvians.
Wynn blatantly
Reiss,
stares.
slowly turns, yeah.
Britta's not entirely certain if this was a strange word, but by this reaction, this is not... All this Gehenna talk she thought that was one of the included words because of all the Gehenna talk.
Britta, we should have a talk later about how you know that word.
There's a lot of elders around.
Ira has raised an eyebrow at the word antediluvians and taken one step towards Reiss.
Anyway, there's a lot of things happening to a lot of different vampires right now as a result of the storm in the east.
To the Ravnos.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is this really what we're talking about? Is that what's going on in the East?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just a legend. That's a thing.
Reiss, I can't believe I'm asking you a question and hoping for an honest answer, but the end of the world, I guess, is bringing it out. The name Ravana.
Ravana is a name that the first among the Ravnos has gone by. Reports against our influence, the Camarilla, the Tremere, is quite limited in that region of the world. Some conflicts with individuals embraced in the area have caused us to... information is inconsistent. What we do know is that in recent past, Ravnos and kindred of the East, the Wanque, have come to conflict. And as a result of this conflict, the Ravnos adopted a Sabbat war strategy and began mass embracing. These mass embrace kindred were summarily destroyed by the Wanque's demonic power, but so many dying in such an area so close to what must have been Ravana's resting place.
Ravana is the antediluvian.
Yes.
Britta just quietly looks a little relieved to hear someone else say it, like it might have accidentally been a Camarilla illegal word.
And this monster rages. And now there are those among the Wanque who challenge it and battle it in a hopes of preventing it from doing whatever it is that vampires so ancient and powerful do. And these three bodhisattva battle it.
Oh, God.
And they have been fighting day and night.
This is what he was talking about.
Neil, a long time ago?
No, just a few fucking hours ago. I saw Neil in the body of Dashwood. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's like his consciousness is fragmented and going all over the place.
Like he's just kind of being randomly scattershot into different bodies or something like that? Or
something like that. And for the life of me, I'm trying to remember. I was worried about Kabir, and I can't remember why. What the fuck is going on lately?
I think he called us because he knew something bad was going to happen.
Which is true. But also not our main focus right now.
I think it is.
Is it? What can you do about a gigantic storm out east right now?
That's not my point. My point is that all this is probably connected. Figuring out why it's connected might help us solve some of these problems.
I think we need to get out of here. We need to either figure out how to subdue or contain Vito, until we have a better plan for how to do it permanently.
You said you were going to incinerate it. Did you actually try? Did that not work?
We were initially... The fire would have incinerated everything in the room, so we could not do it because the failsafe would have destroyed Vito Zantosa, and we need him alive.
Why him?
Vito Zantosa is connected to something we call the Eldest, but...
Is it something like Ravana?
Yes.
Is it in New York?
Yes. If the reports of the Zantosa are to be believed, and the information they have is quite out of date. Whatever it is playing this game on a level that is beyond our understanding. Any missteps could mean extinction. So we have been careful. But the Zantosa, at first we hesitated, and in our hesitation, something reached out to him, changed him, warped him, a presence that we could all feel.
Was this the time that the storm in the Middle East started?
Shortly after.
Mr. Reiss, if Vito gets out, New Haven's gone. The way that he absorbed those people, I don't think that we can let him live and have this city at all be safe.
If I could add some potential context to what you just said. Yale is a global university, and unless I'm very mistaken with my dates, not too long from now it's going to be spring break. So if there's an infection that gets out from this location, whatever is doing this could go global quickly.
I think we're already past that point. If what everything else has been saying is true, this thing's already in New York. And if that's the case, the kid who was dating Sheila that I killed was already infected. So there's infected already leaving New York City. I think we're well past the point of worrying
Vito
about global
himself
infection.
said that the piece in New Haven was a piece from New York. The main body of it is in New York. Reiss, if we destroy Vito, would fragments of things he created attached to him, that house at 123 Ogden Street, would that be a sufficient sample for you to try and do whatever you're doing?
He looks up suddenly. Not any sample would do. But the fragment that he is caretaker of, the piece of the thing, with that, the project would live on.
If I can go and verify it's still there, will you help us destroy Vito here?
Yes. Yes, I would.
How do I get out? Just me or me and Eden?
I mean, we're fairly sure it's there. It hasn't moved in the 12 months.
This place is completely sealed, and I apologies for interrupting, Your Grace, but I agree with you. I also am confident that it is still there.
If the Sabbat is moving on the area, and there are so many factors in play right now, I'm not going to sell out my word on a risk. If we can't get out, we can't get out, and I guess all we have to do is take a risk. But if there is any chance...
The Sabbat are angling, as far as I can tell from that attack on the Gala in Rhode Island. That was a big show of force. A huge number of Sabbat coming to terrorize and kill, like a warning shot.
There might also be people who can keep Eden safe.
Well, we're locked in here now. The piece under New York may be whatever it is and infecting it, but it doesn't seem to be active in the same way that Zantosa is. Zantosa's spread has been far faster, far worse than anything that seemed to be coming from New York.
And not just in our realm.
It has to be a consequence of what is going on in the East.
It might also be attached to being with a live person.
Also, in theory, one of the reasons the Sabbat is in New York is they might actually be fighting against this thing.
Sheriff, would you...
For all their faults, they are a Gehenna cult opposed to the antediluvians, are they not?
What were you saying, Ira?
Would you elaborate, for those of us in the room who aren't aware, what you mean by other realms?
It's twisting the realm of spirits, and he's twisting the realm of the dead.
The Shadowlands.
The Shadowlands.
So
yes.
It's present in the Shadowlands and surviving?
Yeah. It's not surviving, it's thriving, it's changing it, it's twisting it, it's making it wrong, and it's doing... Look around, it's doing the same thing in the realm of spirits and the realm of the dead, and the realm of the dead have a maelstrom coming.
But you're certain that piece could survive without flesh in the Shadowlands.
How do you know that?
The dead don't go to the places where it twists. It twists it. It doesn't need flesh. It's a mutator. It's not flesh exclusive.
So the same way that you saw that blood in the snow at Hell House, that's how you know? Or something more?
No, it's doing it here. It's happening here.
It's because she can see it.
So any plan that would involve trying to snuff it out by putting it in another place like that couldn't work.
That's like launching our trash into space and thinking that it won't be our problem. It's going to be a problem for someone. And eventually, look at it. It's growing exponentially. It's growing beyond what we can contain.
Well, we know Zantosa is.
That's
all we have is the evidence right now. Let's stick with the things what we have right now.
I'm basing this on Hell House. I'm basing it on here.
Well,
it is growing much faster here. I haven't heard about anything in New York. I didn't see anything when we were in New York.
Okay. But that we are dealing with the problems we have right now. Right now, we haven't heard anything about Ogden Street spreading around. We haven't heard about a giant mushroom forest erupting out of the north part of New Haven.
No, but we've seen it.
We've seen the slow spread. The slow spread has not stopped.
The House of Ogden still, I'm pretty sure, still contains that thing.
Yeah.
The group of hunters never managed to get a chance to move on it.
They were going to try.
I
hope they haven't.
They got delayed.
They did?
By a lupine.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
That same lupine that's in my car. Well, my haven now.
How did that go?
You brought it to your haven?
I did. There's not many other good spots to put it. Don't have time to drive it out to the mountains.
And you live kind of in a bunker, so it's not the worst choice. And Sheila, she's your bartender.
Kind of a maze down there.
Anyways,
Sheila knows it.
Are we working on how to proceed from here right now, or are we gathering information?
We need to figure out what to deal with Zantosa.
Fire won't work. Throwing it into another realm won't work. Have we tried nuclear?
Ms. Britta, what were you saying?
We know some things about Vito's behavior, like if you were going to use me as bait, it would work.
Getting it to one location, using you as bait.
Britta, if you asked him or told him to undo himself, would he?
He's trying to... I don't really know what he's trying to use his vicissitude on me to do, but it kind of sounded like he was trying to absorb me to... I don't know if I could really tell him to do anything with... I'm sorry for not turning this off. I know that bothers you, but I don't know if I have many other forms of safety. I don't know that he would do something just because I asked him to, is I guess what I'm saying, but...
Are you able to get him to let his guard down so that you can touch him? Can you touch him?
Britta looks horrified at that.
Is that safe? Or will that make her...
None of this is safe, and if she's bait, there's a very good chance she will die, but I think she knew that when she offered.
Britta looks down. Reiss has successfully called her out.
Will she be able to leave this place if she touches him? Or will that spread?
Idea. Let's move past that for the time being. Can you touch him?
I think I'd be able to.
If she can touch him, what can she do?
Her? Not a great deal. But I can do much. I will craft an amulet. You will wear it. You will carry something with you, a glove, perhaps. I need a glove, one of your gloves.
If she gives you a glove, then what?
Then I hang magic on it.
Britta looks a little unsettled, but off of the hand without the crescent, her right hand, she does remove that glove. And when she hands it over to Reiss, it's still extraordinarily cold.
In order for this to work, it will take a moment. And if it is alerted, it will cast off any infected flesh before it has the opportunity to take its toll. Up until that moment, who knows what he will do to her. But perhaps it is for that reason you should go with her and make sure that she survives the encounter.
Of course. How long were you down in the tunnels that were fully infected?
It's been a few hours.
And you've had multiple encounters with Vito at this point?
I've always had a barrier of some sort, and I've managed to avoid contact, other than one of the infected caught me in a grapple, but I got out pretty quickly.
I think to some degree her entrancement of him is still working. There's no reason she should be this unscathed, running through an area completely under his control.
Are you familiar with the nature of the Zantosa? The Santovich family?
The thing where they like being hurt?
Yes. They are addicted to sensation. Vito Zantosa is obsessed with experiences one might have through the flesh, pleasure and pain in equal measure. It will make him prone to risk.
I could offer to shoot him again.
You need to touch him with the glove. If this is going to work, I need to begin preparations immediately.
Britta, what if you touch him with both hands? Your hands are very cold, right?
Yeah.
It would disguise that one of them is doing something else. Or a knife.
John takes the glove and actually starts heading off to prepare.
If I can keep half an eye on what he's doing with Thom's sight, I'm just curious what he's actually planning here.
Okay.
If I can see what magic he's weaving into it.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of keeping an eye on Ira to see if he's keeping an eye on Reiss.
Ira's very clearly keeping an eye on Reiss. He does look over at Britta, though. If I might ask an unaddressed question. If this fails, or doesn't work, a backup plan is to keep him tried and locked in here. So that makes me particularly curious as to who it was that opened the locks in the first place and came down here. Not usual that someone like yourself comes down here alone, and your coterie tells me you're not, to their knowledge, capable of leaving 3-inch feminine handprint in the side of a steel vault door. So, who else is here?
Is it anyone we need to worry about?
There were people here. I don't know if they've all been infected or if they're still here. People who want the Zantosa dead. Enemies of the Smeetsi. She's making eye contact with Wynn, kind of pleading for her to get it. And as she's doing this, her bare hand is lightly tracing fingertips along her other palm, the covered one.
And these people, these enemies, allies of yours that make a habit of going into chantries.
Wynn kind of seems to think for a minute, but she just gives like a little wrinkle of her nose. Like she doesn't want to nod, but she kind of gets it.
Britta looks over at Ira, then at the increased questioning, looking over his expression, only feeling more and more caged in.
Huge narc energy radiating off of Ira.
We have a saying in our coterie, Ira, that's a tomorrow night problem.
Unfortunately, Sheriff, if I could offer a disagreement.
You can offer it.
If there are people skulking around who also might be having their own plans and who are prone to, if I could make some conjecture, killing Tremere. We walked through piles of ash to get here, and Vito seems to absorb the flesh. The further down we've gotten, the less ash we've found. So, if there are killers about, perhaps enemies of the Camarilla, at least Clan Tremere, as we are trying to enact some sort of plan, and one who can get through Chantry defenses.
Enemies of the Tzimisce
Open
was,
up
I thought,
their
what she said.
security systems that we were using to keep things locked in. That might be pertinent information.
Britta, is there anything we should know while we are making this plan that we should account for? Are there people that are going to try and get in our way?
Ira should probably take off that pin.
So, acknowledging myself as a Tremere, confirmation then of your current associates being killers of the Tremere.
Please don't call them that.
I don't mean to
Call
be
them what?
the asshole here, but
But you're gonna power through.
members of my clan are dead, and your friend confirmed that they were her associates who brought her in here and bypassed our security. I think it's relevant.
I
right
think
now.
they were between them and their actual target.
Britta,
The point
who are
stands.
you with here?
Big pleading eyes towards Johnny.
Tomorrow night problems, Johnny.
It's not.
Britta, tell us what we need to know to make the best plan that we can.
Let me recount this. Last time we known, you'd been abducted by somebody. We're never quite clear sure who. So, did that end up with you being forced to work with another set of individual people here?
Ira eyes Britta's very obvious tack gear made for her at the word forced.
Britta looks more and more like she's being backed into a corner. She looks kind of close to crying. Sometimes I do things I don't want to, and
Ira puts a hand up. I apologize. It's flat when he says it, but he says it anyways.
I think you've done enough.
I'm
You want to
not
just step
enough.
back?
used to talking, asking questions of other clans. I'm not here to make accusations. I just need to know.
That's why I'm asking her to tell us what we need to know, because otherwise what you are doing right now, this is compromising an asset on our side.
You're asking leading questions, Sheriff. You're giving her the answer,
I'm aware of what I'm doing.
which is not getting facts.
I don't care about facts right now. I care about details.
I care about facts.
Then
because
they can
facts
wait
keep
until
us
when we can
alive.
give them.
Enough. One, Ira, what are you planning on doing with this information?
If there is a group of individuals who are targeting my clanmates and killing them, yes, that is relevant information to me and Clan Tremere.
Great.
More than that, and for our current predicament, they bypassed a number of security systems that were designed more to keep things in than out. And if we are trying to stop Vito from leaving, then knowing who is out there doing God knows what, smashing down vault doors, locking things in time, then that is relevant information, and we need to know because we could have the best plan in the world, and that X Factor could open the door inadvertently, and all of this could be for nothing, my dead clanmates included.
Great. How many of those people were still alive when you last saw them?
I have reason to believe that one of them might still be okay, and reason to believe that one of them's more likely to have been infected along with the other one that I saw to be infected. There's two that I'm not sure. If they think that we're killing Vito, then they'll be allies, I think, if they're not infected.
Great. Any information we find on them on the way through, yours to have. I think most of them are dead. Vito Zantosa does not usually leave much behind.
The group of us managed to make it down.
We're in
And-
the smallest part, and Vito likes to fuck with us.
The region has been here for quite some time. My clan started packing up days more ago, before this started. They're all gone or dead, but the region has stayed behind. Still here, untouched by Vito. It's not outside the realms to make an assumption that a group of individuals who can bypass chantries.
The region's mini gargoyle was infected too.
Mini gargoyle?
The little gargoyle,
Oh, like a servant. A homunculus.
I'm sorry. Wynn, you missed that opportunity?
A little pissed off right now.
Okay.
The pissed is overwhelming the dirty mind.
What?
Nothing, continue.
We're having a moment. It's fine.
So, of the ones they haven't seen affected, anything about their abilities we should be aware of? Most likely, they are separated individuals, maybe operating in pairs.
Usually operating in pairs.
What is left of the abilities that you're aware of?
There's one who's very strong, and time doesn't really seem to matter to her.
Well, don't like that.
Another who is very trained with weapons.
Which kind of weapons? Any? All?
All, as far as I can tell.
A favorite?
Most people seem to be using guns.
Makes sense. Hand-to-hand was not a smart move on my part, I'll admit that freely.
I don't really know the abilities of most of them. One of them would be quick like me.
Any thaumaturges, magicians in the group?
Hey, with a strong amount of empathy, is that narc energy radiating as strong? Because in the room, it's radiating real strong.
It's...
Any close-up magicians?
It is still radiating pretty hard. He can't quite control that part. It's the one part of hidden motives he's not good at hiding. But ever since he said sorry, even though it was very flat, and he still seems... He's got more of an energy of he's a cop that overstepped and was okay, this is not technically my jurisdiction. I'm gonna at least play nice. If it's tough to tell whether he's playing nice or actually trying to be nice and just not doing a good job of it. But since then, the narc energy is overwhelming, but he's at least trying to put a handle on it.
If you can give us 4 basic drawings or descriptions of them, so if we run into them, we know what we're looking at, that'd be great. We're going to take a few minutes here while Reiss is doing his thing.
He looks at the 4 of you. Maybe I should give you all a minute. I'll go see if the regent needs help. Step out of your shot. Promise. And he just turns and walks over towards where Reiss is working, at least seeming to actually try and give you guys a minute as a coterie.
When he's some amount of distance away, to Miles, to be a bit clearer, Britta raises her left hand in front of herself, using her body as barrier between herself and Ira, and clearly traces out the crescent moon on her palm.
He nods. We've caught it before.
Britta, you're not good enough with Auspex, are you?
She shakes her head.
Okay.
We're going to be leaving here soon. Our major plan seems to be going down there, hoping Vito's obsession with Britta yet again serves us. Maybe you could summon him again, though I very much doubt it. The trick is going to work twice.
Britta.
Yeah?
You're here with the people from the flashbacks?
Yeah. They might help if... I don't know, I'm really confused.
Is that who took you from New Haven?
No, they took me from Pendragon, who took me from New Haven.
Okay.
Well, it's been a very full few days for you.
Wynn just kind of takes Britta's bare hand and squeezes it.
Stuff with, if I live, I'm probably gonna have to apologize to Prince Pendragon, but maybe it's better for you guys. I'm not sure.
We can worry about that later.
That's the very definition of a tomorrow night problem.
Okay. I'll do the drawings.
Great. That'll help at least identify them.
You can just give us a description. You don't owe us more than you want to give, and that will keep us alive long enough to keep you alive.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I think we could probably tell if they're not wearing a tie with a Clan Tremere pin. If they're not mutated beyond recognition, they're probably part of that team.
I mean, honestly, most of them are dressed like me.
Is that clear enough for y'all?
We have time. What could it hurt?
It's fine for me. I don't know why they're insisting on asking questions, though.
Who?
Fucking Ira.
To be fair, members of his clan were ashed up in the hallways.
Yeah,
I'd be pretty fucking pissed if those are Brujah.
And his clan has ashed many members of my clan or mutated them horribly.
We're still...
On a long enough timeline, we've all fucked each other. At a certain point, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Wynn, we're talking about actual bodies upstairs. We're not talking about history here.
We're talking about piles of ash that can't do anything to impact us right now or not.
Enough.
You need to stop doing that when I get into fights. You need to let me fight some people.
Okay, when we have the chance to fight. Now is not the time. With
Apparently it is.
No, it's not. That's why the enough comes out.
That's when you think it's enough.
Yes.
I don't think it's enough.
I see
sorry.
that.
It's my fault. I'm the one that's made a lot of this.
Stop. Mommy and Daddy are fighting. It's fine. It's not your fault.
We're not mad at each other.
We love each other very much.
Gross.
But we both love you very much, which is less gross. Should be for him.
Okay. Thank you.
Not going to presume your emotional state. That was on me.
Get some blood. Take a few minutes.
Britta will grab up some of the blood, but before she goes to drink it, she stops by the bookshelf where presumably there's still Eden.
Eden is desperately minding her own business.
Britta, in support of her desperately minding her own business, slides in and sits to be more hidden in the bookshelves with her. And, hey, I'm really sorry for talking about you like you're not here and all the scary stuff that we're saying. I know how that feels, and it doesn't feel good.
She gives like a little shrug. This is all really scary, but it seems like everyone is not afraid that they're going to die here and now. And hearing everyone argue about the future and, tomorrow problems, it makes me think that we're not going to die today. So it's bad, but it's comforting too.
Hope's worth a lot.
It is. I saw what you did with your hand.
Her fingertips flicker, telltale sign that Eden's cracked.
Are you the last daughter of Eve too?
Britta swallows shakily, looks down, and looks up at Eden, trying to manufacture some confidence for her, and shrugs. A bit of a completely emotionally exhausted and over that kind of almost hysterical smile, but being offered sincerely. I don't know. I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, you're breathing.
Seems to kind of like really think on that. And then she twitches, hearing a cracking of glass coming from Reiss. When you look to see what Reiss is doing, Reiss has a window pane that he smashes, and he takes a big shard of glass and heads back to the table where he is performing a ritual. Ira, watching him, you get the impression he's about to do some heavy stuff. Powerful magic.
I have Thumb Sight up.
Okay.
Do I know what he's doing?
Yeah. So, the glove has beads and an amulet being attached to it around the palm, and it looks like there's the glove that is having magic cast on it, and there's also beads with an amulet.
Okay.
The amulet is prepared as a way of warding, so it looks like he intends to remote cast into a fight, and the glove is enchanted to give off the effect seizures the first time that it touches someone of Brujah blood. And now he is preparing a ritual called Chill of the Wind Saber. It is elder level, and kind of studying it, you realize he's going to crack the glass at some point and decapitate anyone he's looking at, instantly killing them. And he apparently plans to remote decapitate Vito Zantosa.
Maybe.
That is the plan.
Maybe is also the thought that crosses Ira's mind. Once Ira sees, he just kind of keeps half an eye on Reiss. If anybody does look over, he does seem to be giving them their privacy. He also seems to be cracking open, occasionally casting spells or little things on himself, and cracking open vials and drinking blood just to refresh like everybody else already had. And then he drinks more, and then he drinks more, and then he drinks more. And eventually, nearly 50 of those little vials, like truly 6 gallons of blood, have gone into Ira. Just consuming impossible amounts of blood, sitting there and occasionally casting and stopping, and then he'll start drinking again. And just how his body can hold that much without swelling to disgusting levels is who the fuck knows. But he is just truly like guzzling an insane amount of blood.
Wynn will probably walk away from Eden and Britta at some point because we're preparing for a fight. And there's going to be an unarmored child. So she's looking to see what sort of stockpile of weapons and armor. So she will Reiss looks busy. So she will kind of walk up to Ira, kind of just eyeballing the huge number of empty containers. Armor?
Thought I saw some on the table with some of the guns left behind. But, Sheriff, what I was going to offer. The Tremere in general and thaumaturgy seem unwelcome with your coterie, which is fine. But if I might offer aid, your flannel, armor for the girl, whatever you happen to want, we can at least strengthen a bit, much like the prince's sword, if you'd like.
I'll go with what His Grace says. I'm admittedly not unbiased, and I don't want to make the wrong decision because of my own prejudices.
There is a small, like, olive branch offer of a half smile, and he just looks at Wynn and goes, if most of your dealings with the Tremere have been with the Regent, I understand the bias. But I would, if I could offer. I'm not wrong. The Regent is the last one off this sinking ship. That's gotta say something.
It also says something that he's not infected at all.
Neither are we.
Tentatively, yes, Ira. I'm assuming you're casting because this is just a frat house worth of blood. So I'm assuming that you're drinking, casting, and refueling.
A bit. I want to stay prepared if we're going down, because so long as the trust is there, I think it's probably smart that I go with you.
I think we all need to talk about what we're planning on doing when we get there. Otherwise, we're going to turn into chainsaw in guts again.
And if there's blood left, we should probably boost ourselves with it.
Also
Fair.
part of what I've been doing.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll do that too. Where did you say the armor and the weapons were?
He gestures to the box that was over on the table.
We're done with our kumbaya, I believe. So come talk to us about what your abilities in a fight, so we know how to plan around that, and so you know how to plan around us.
Ira gets up, kind of follows Wynn over. Best guess for what the Regent has planned is that he will be supporting remotely. Don't know the Regent's capacity for combat, but I can't imagine it's nothing.
He fucked up Johnny and me pretty good in a fight once.
He gives like a look like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good recommendation to his ability to fuck people up, because I've seen the two of you fight. The glove, not to spoil surprises, is likely to, at least temporarily, incapacitate the muscles of the first Bruja it touches. So
he turns into pudding?
Seneschal, maybe don't get too close to Miss Britta, at least for a bit. After that, probably just violence, which I am happy to help with. I had offered to the sheriff to reinforce your clothing, keep you a bit more protected if you wished. I could do to your chainsaw, Seneschal, what I did to the prince's sword.
Despite the odds, Ira, I seem to like you. Let's not push it by having you use any of your blood magic on me.
They'll like actually pulls a chuckle out of Ira, just like not expecting that. I thought we were gonna have a moment and we super didn't. All right, like he gets a chuckle out of him.
You can boost my gear. That's fine.
Understood. Your grace.
If his grace is on board with it, I'm on board with it.
And especially of Britta and whatever way you're able to give to Eden here.
Wynn pulls the box down and starts pulling out whatever's in there.
Okay, and the group of you begin to prepare.
Path of Night is a Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Venture was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was composed for Path of Night by Brian Matolius. Find him online at brianmatolius.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show on coffee.com/pathofnight. Find us on twitter.com/pathofnightpod, on facebook.com/pathofnightpodcasts, or email us at pathofnightpodcasts@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
Are you purposely holding back the fact that you talked to Neil?
Yes, I am purposely evading the fact that I came here with the Tamahira and Neil told me and Neil told me that I had to save this girl because
Reiss is standing in the room.
Reiss is right here.
And an unknown factor, Tremere.
Right.